All right, so now let's go and start to add this element here as our block. So let's go. So just to let you know, we're gonna have like 3 blocks within section here. The first one is going to be about the title. The second one is going to be about the description. And the third one is going to be about the FAQ itself, question and response. So let's go. So to create blocks within section, we need to go to our schema and we need to add a blocks attribute like this, and this blocks attribute is going to accept object. So each object like this going to represent one block within section. Remember, I told you we're going to have 3. I already gave you like what is going to be here. So we're going to have 3: the text, the description, and the question and answer. So one object like this represents just one block. And if I go back to my text editor, as you can see, we can't add a block here. So if I come here inside these 2 curlies here and add the necessary attributes. So the first one is going to be name, and let's call it heading, and we need to give it a type. This is like very mandatory, and the type here must be somehow similar to the name that you gave to your block. Okay, and then here what comes, which is like very interesting, like you have now the 2 attributes here. You have the limit, which is the number of the blocks of the type you want to use. Okay, and then you have the settings, which is exactly the same principles with what we done here. So I'm not going to add the limit here for now. I want to show you something, but I'm going to add a settings for now. And this settings is going to be an array, just like what we have here. And I'm going to save it. So if I go back to my editor now and watch again, we have no block appearing here. But if I reload, so we have now add heading. So this add heading is going to represent this heading right here. If I go here, click on add heading, you can see add the first heading. I can go again and add second heading. I can go again, another heading. This is based on our design, is going to be like all over the place. It's going to destroy our design. So we can in Shopify limit the number of the block we want to show within our section. So for example, here, if I add 3 heading, when we hard code it, okay, we see that it looks very nice like this. So it does not make sense to have like 3 times the same heading inside the same section. Does not make any sense. Okay, so in my case, I think I will limit this heading just to be 1. So I will come back here and I'm gonna add inside the first object here, I will add the limit, and it's going to be set to 1. If I save it and I go back and I reload, we have 3 here. So let me delete again here so we don't get, let's remove this one as well. And watch, when I click on add heading, I can add only 1 heading, and then I'm not able to add another heading anymore. Great, let's save it. And now let's start to work on the description. It's going to be the same process. Like I was telling you, for each block within section, you need to create an object for that. Okay, so this is our first object, and we're gonna come back to it very soon. All right, so let's reduce it. Let's create the second object that's going to represent the description. So the same process. We're gonna give it a name. Let's call it description. We're gonna give it a type. So it's gonna take the same name as as we have on top, description. And also here, I want to limit it to be 1. And I will give it some settings here, and I will save it. So I will go back, refresh my page. Now we have just add block, because we have more than 1 blocks. So when I click here, we're gonna have the possibility to add the description as well. But you know what? Let me delete the heading first. So we have only like add blocks. When you click here, you're gonna have the list of the blocks for that section, for that particular section. Again, we are doing blocks within section. So here I can add the heading, just like we did earlier, and also I can add the description, and there you go. All right, so let's save it. And now we need just to add the question and the answer, which is just 1 card. So again, we're gonna come back here, let's reduce the description object, and then we're gonna create another one that's going to represent our question and answer. So here, the same process, we're gonna have an attribute of name. So let's call it questions and response or responses, or just let's make it singular like this. So question and response, and let's give it a type. So we're gonna call it question and response, and we can accept a limit. So let's say I want to make it to stop at 6, and the settings right here. Okay, so this limit at 6 does not mean that the store owner must go up to 6. No, it just means like you cannot go more than 6. And again, when you're doing all of this, you need to always to be mindful for your design. Okay, because when something is changed, it needs to adapt to still look good and usable. So let's save it and go back to our code editor. And now if I reload, and I can add a block, and as you can see now we have a question and response, and when I click here, and so far we have no settings because we have to go add it, but this is how you add a block within your section. So you have the title, which is this one, you have the description, which is this one, and then you have the question and response, which is representing one like this, and we can go add more of the question and response as much as we wish until we reach the limit, if there is any limit set. In my case, it is set to 6, and there you go. So all of this is set. So now let's see how we can make it to be dynamic.